Greetings, Chris Fiola here with another edition of the Perfecting Equilibrium vlog. Today is part 2 in our look at the new AI tools in Adobe Photoshop, and I know you'll all be terribly disappointed, but because we're doing Photoshop on the big Photoshop machine, there's no little insert video of me today. Disappointing indeed, I'm sure, but you'll just have to learn to live with it. So here we are. Last week we took a look, and I'll put a link to this down below, at adding things in Photoshop, and we added a 1950s science fiction movie style spaceship to a sky, and that was fun and amusing, but not super useful. Today we're going to look at something more useful, which is Adobe's Generative Fill, which is supposed to be something like the magic spot fill tool on steroids. Now, spot healing tool. The spot healing brush has always been kind of magic when it works, and that is that it will extend down. If you wanted to remove these trees in this cart down here, you could get it to do that. The problem is what it would fill with. Sometimes you could get it to fill with sky, and you learned after a while to kind of edge your way in from what you wanted, so it would fill down with sky and not up with grass or add more trees. So we'll try a couple things here. I did a selection over here and told it to put an empty sky in there, and instead of an empty sky, it's for some reason added trees, just different trees. It seems to have the same problem that that the spot healing brush does, which is that at times it just gets it in its head that it's something else. So strange, but true. We can let's try empty sky and clouds. Now this is reasonably quick. Well, now this is on a big multi-core machine, so with 16 gigs of RAM in it, so it does run fairly quickly, but it's also 4 or 5 years old, so it's not the latest and greatest. And as you see, an empty sky it adds a telephone pole for no apparent reason. Yeah, once when I did, and a road. That's as I said before, it is somewhat insane. So, but I had better luck with this photo here, where I selected the sky. One of the wacky things that I do is I tend to carry a camera with me everywhere, and so I saw this field of flowers and literally stuck a camera out the window of my car and took a picture. The flowers were pretty, the sky not so much. So let's see, I did a couple of tries here where I told it to put a dramatic sky in there, and that frankly is fairly good. Yeah, that's really interesting. So you've got, I think here it's a better version of the tools you already have in Photoshop. Now it's important to remember there's nothing that you can do in Photoshop that Jerry Olsman wasn't doing better 30 years ago in a wet darkroom. Dodging and burning and masks and multiple enlargers and multiple images to do things like trick skies in like this. And there's nothing that you can do with this generative tool that you couldn't do with multiple images and good Photoshop skills. This makes it simpler and easier and frankly faster. Where I think this is going to be really useful is generating marketing materials where you want some happy workers in something that looks like your office or your plant, and combining things like that. So next week we'll take a look at that. So that's a quick look at the Generative Fill, the new super replace things tool in Adobe Photoshop. This is the Adobe Photoshop beta. I'll put links to everything down below. Have a great week. Feel out.